Hello and welcome. My name is Nate from Video Games Recon, and in this video I'd like to share my recent and less than great experience with PlayStation customer service and their arbitrary PlayStation Plus Auto Renewal system. Now, I just want to preference this by saying I'm not super butthurt about what transpired, or more so what didn't. And the money thing for me isn't the issue, it's more a case of frustration with their disinterested copy and paste replies and their reluctance to even consider doing anything for a genuine customer who just wants an annoying situation resolved fairly. Or well, just to give a crap as a company. Either way, I thought you may find some of my experiences interesting. And I have another video inspired by this malarkey I'm working on, so you can think of this vid as a prequel to that. Anywho, I figured it might be interesting, so I thought I'd share. Okay, so this all started the other day when I noticed a charge from PlayStation on my bank account. I thought this was odd as I hadn't ordered any games or DLC recently, so obviously I looked into what the charge was for, and it turned out to be a 3-month subscription to PlayStation Plus, which again was odd as I hadn't ordered said subscription. So after some further digging, I found out this was due to an auto renewal system that I had no idea about and didn't recall being informed of at all. And looking back in retrospect, was only informed about it the day before the purchase by email. Which might be okay if you had an office job where you need to check your emails daily. Well, I don't know about you, but personally that's not something I need to do. So one day before a transaction just isn't enough time, especially as I didn't even know this was a thing. Now, I know you can argue that you should expect stuff like this as it is a subscription, but I've never been subscribed to something that will automatically charge you without letting you know about it. Now, I'm sure it tells you somewhere that this happens, but let me ask you a question. If you have PlayStation Plus, do you recall being informed about auto renewal? Because I've racked my brains and looked through old emails and I don't. So, although I'd essentially been charged without my prior knowledge, I didn't want to cancel my subscription as they kind of have you over a barrel, seeing as you need it to be able to play pretty much any multiplayer games. Instead, what I did was look up online how to turn off the auto renewal function, which as it turns out I can't, which I'll go over later. And contact customer services so as to swap my 3-month subscription for a 1-year subscription, which was forced upon me because the last time I ordered PS Plus I got a 3-month subscription, so that's what I decided to buy again, on my behalf. And of course it did this without asking me if that's what I want, which I don't, for multiple reasons. One of those reasons being that it costs more to buy every 3 months. And as a side note, it's set to increase for 1 month and 3-month subscriptions in Europe from September onwards. Because, well, they can. Anyway, let's go through some of the correspondence, shall we? Now, even though I was getting more and more frustrated throughout, I decided there was no point in being rude, as it wouldn't get me anywhere. However, as it turns out, it wouldn't have made much if any difference. Anyway, here's my first email. As an FYI, there won't be any private information on screen, nor will there be names of any of the customer service personnel, as that wouldn't be very smart or fair. My first email reads, "Hi. My PlayStation Plus renewed itself for a 3-month period without my knowledge, which is annoying that this was going to happen. Normally I would turn off auto renewal with not knowing this was going to happen, but we'll be keeping it on in the short term so I can pre-order a game soon. FYI, pre-orders and subscriptions should be separated so things like this don't happen. Basically, after researching it, you can't turn off auto renewal if you want to pre-order a digital game like I do, which really sucks. I digress. Anyway, long story short, I don't want a 3-month subscription, as this pushes the next renewal close to Christmas, an expensive time of year. So is there any way we can cancel the 3-month subscription and swap it for a 1-year subscription?" Here is PlayStation's reply. Now, I could read it out, but it's basically a copy and paste description on how to disable auto renewal because the dude clearly didn't read my email properly. So in my reply to this, I remained calm even though I was frustrated. That is not the question I asked. I know how to cancel auto renewal, I was merely explaining how annoying it was to have not been notified properly. I'll try again. Can you cancel and refund me the 3-month subscription which was automatically renewed without my permission so I can, or you can do it if you're allowed to do so, manually swap. Notice I emphasise swap so they don't think I'm looking for a straight up refund, because you know how companies just love to give you your money back when you're unsatisfied with their service or product. Again, I digress. Swap it for a 1-year subscription, as I don't want a 3-month subscription that will need renewing just before Christmas. I want a 1-year subscription from now until the same time next year. This is starting to get frustrating. I hope you understand what I'm saying and can help me out. Thank you. Again, I received another copy-paste response. Now, although copy-paste responses show a lack of being personable and giving a shit, I'm going to play devil's advocate, as the customer service people probably get a ridiculous amount of messages to sort through. So, although incredibly annoying, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on this. Also, I'd just like to state I don't hold the customer service people responsible for any of this. It's probably just company policy, and these guys are just trying to do a job. Again, here is the response, and again, not much point in reading it out, as it pretty much says we don't do refunds unless a product is faulty, which will probably also mean only if you have a warranty. So basically, unlucky bub. Now, as annoyed as I was by the copy-paste mentality, general apathy, and their inability to review things on a case-by-case basis and act accordingly, I still didn't lose my shit, although I was tempted. Instead, I did it the British way, and responded respectfully, yet passive-aggressive. So here's my reply, and at the end I'll summarise my general thoughts. I'm not looking for a refund. I want to exchange the 3-month PlayStation Plus subscription for a 1-year subscription, obviously paying the difference. Again, I wanted to reiterate that they wouldn't be losing any money if they exchanged it for a 1-year subscription, because as we all know, that's all they really care about. Anywho, as your stupid auto renewal system, which I wasn't properly informed, was automatically on because I'm stupid enough to have my card details still on my PS4. Otherwise I would have turned it off had I known, as I don't want a 3-month subscription, I want a 1-year subscription, which shows how screwed up your TOS, or terms of service, is, as you won't even let me give you more money for something I actually want. As well as nasty little surprises like having charges on my bank account without my knowledge or permission. On top of which you can't even turn off PlayStation Plus Auto Renewal if you want to pre-order a game. So if you like digital games, you're screwed. What I want is for you to be flexible and fair, but I'm not going to get either of those things, am I? I realise that this isn't whoever is reading this message's fault, but if you have a forum at PlayStation to log complaints, here's a few. 1. Inform people better that their PlayStation Plus will auto-renew, i.e. send them a notification on their console and properly inform them when buying PS Plus, as well as emails a week in advance, not a day. 2. PS Plus auto-renewal and being able to pre-order games needs to be separated. 3. Giving your customer service a little discretion and flexibility so as they can give the customer a fair and positive experience instead of copying and pasting links to your TOS. All this has left a sour taste in my mouth towards PlayStation and as to PS Plus's worth, which I hadn't previously thought about up until now. Which has inspired me to make a talking points video discussing both my thoughts on PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now as a whole, which I'll link to on screen and in the description when it's uploaded. Again, more digression. As you either don't have the ability or don't care enough about your customers to make simple exchanges that would make people value your company and customer service, instead of detest it. You say that you can't get refunds unless a product is defective. Well, if your policies count as part of your product, then I'd argue your product is defective. I don't expect that a massive, disinterested, unwieldy company like Sony to fix my issue, or the issues stated, now that it has mine and other people's money. So do us both a favour, and don't reply with some copy-paste BS pretending to care. Just don't bother, or do, because either way, I no longer care. FYI, I've owned every single PlayStation console. First time I've ever contacted customer services. I don't know what I was expecting. You big companies are all the same. Yours sincerely, a very dissatisfied customer. Now to be fair, I do come off a little butthurt, and that's, well, because I am a little. More so because of the lack of feeling like I'm talking to a human and not a machine, and the lack of autonomy of the customer service personnel to have some leeway to resolve situations, as opposed to just towing the company line and feigning empathy. Now, you could argue that they're a big company and them being personable and giving independence to resolve issues in themselves isn't practical for a company of their size. Well, I realise customer service is very hit and miss, but I've contacted other customer services of other companies in the past, and most tend to respond in person, even if just a couple of sentences, then some copy and paste info. And almost all try and do something to resolve an issue, and have the autonomy or ability to actually do something should they see fit, instead of just shooting you down and basically being all tough luck, we don't care about customer satisfaction. And again, I reiterate, this is more due to company policy as opposed to individual customer service staff, even though I mostly got copy-paste responses. Not all of the staff came off as insincere, as my final correspondence left me feeling a little bit like a passive-aggressive dick. Not to Sony or PlayStation, they can suck a fat one, but to the individual customer service personnel who, like I said before, are just trying to do a job. As my final reply, although couldn't actually do anything for me, as clearly they don't have the power to, was at least sincere and took the time out to actually write a reply and apologise that he couldn't do anything due to company guidelines, and tried to offer an alternative, even if that alternative was shit. So, to summarise, PlayStation's customer service, particularly when it comes to their services like PlayStation Plus, and I'd have to guess PlayStation Now as well, sucks. As does their auto renewal policies and their blanket policy of no refunds or exchanges or any of that nonsense no matter the circumstances, regardless of cases where it makes sense and would most likely only garner brand loyalty. And on a side note, I feel sorry for the people who have to work in customer services who clearly have their hands tied behind their back by Sony, and don't have the power to review or resolve issues and act accordingly. Instead, their job seems to consist of sorting returns on hardware, apologising on behalf of PlayStation, and copying and pasting info. And I'd guess each employee has to pump out thousands of email replies or hundreds of calls a day from disgruntled customers with little or no authority to actually help the large majority of customers. So, the thing to take away from this is if you're a PlayStation fanboy or an Xbox fanboy or any type of fanboy to companies of this ilk, and you think they give a shit about you, loyalty and satisfaction, you're sorely mistaken, as all these companies are the same, and the only thing they care about is making money. Which in itself is ironic, as if they did go out of their way to make it look like they care, they probably make more money in the long run from loyal customers, as loyalty is a two-way street. So don't be a blind fanboy, and go with a console or service that speaks to you, or that your friends are on, as that's where you're going to have the most fun. And all of them have their pros and cons, and all of them only care about your money, and are too short-sighted to see that customer satisfaction means brand loyalty in the long term. As to whether these services are worth trying or forking out for, instead of my bitching and whining about my recent shenanigans, well, that's what I'm going to try to attempt to discuss as unbiased as I can in my next video. Again, there will be a link on screen or in the description. So that's my little rant over, and just leaves me to say, if you enjoyed this video, or at very least didn't hate it, please like, comment, share and subscribe for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.